Thank you, Dom. Welcome, everyone. My name is Bala Venkatrao, and I'm the head of Product Enterprise. I'll be joined today by Maggie, who leads our enterprise product marketing teams. I'm very excited to be here today with you to share the latest on our investments in our enterprise offerings. Last year, the theme of the session was all about building for change. Many of you were already preparing for change and adapting to a more digital model of work to support your distributed teams. But little did we know just how much change we would face in 2020. From those of you I've spoken with, it's clear this year brought an unforeseen challenges and gave us different perspectives on how best to prepare for change and adapt to it. Many of you faced abrupt transitions to support a newly remote workforce. Some of you experienced a massive influx of users to your existing technology, which led IT teams to quickly identify how to best support and stabilize the technology they support. Others introduced new tools to support entirely new ways of working. And for others, it was less bumpy. I was chatting with Zoom's head of IT infrastructure and employee services, Gary, about how they embrace these transitions. For them, the experience was relatively seamless as they've always adopted a cloud-first approach for their critical tools, including the Atlassian products. He credits their early focus on cloud products as the ability to quickly react to the changes in 2020. Zoom has primarily evaluated their products or their choices of cloud products and vendors across 4 key dimensions: scalability, security and compliance, reliability and uptime, and admin management. In addition, they look to partner with companies like Atlassian who don't just provide a siloed single solution, but provide a platform that enable organizations to do multiple things. Regardless of your approach, we have come out of this year with learnings we want to apply to our future strategies. We ourselves took a step back to prioritize the value you needed from us and how we could deliver that value as quickly as possible. For the most part, your needs hadn't changed significantly. However, there were a few areas that rose to the top of the list based on last year's events. Scale and performance, particularly in our cloud products, came in as number 1. This year accelerated many of your transitions to the cloud, which were often accompanied by increases in the number of teams you were moving to the cloud. The other need that took the top spot in the list was security and compliance. With the rise of security incidents this year, you told us you needed more from us to help you protect against these threats and fast. The investments we've been making in our enterprise offerings aren't just limited to these 2 areas. We are continuously evaluating and prioritizing the biggest needs of our enterprise customers from multiple perspectives, whether it's the JAC tickets, the customer interactions with our field teams, evolving needs in a remote world, or something else. The work we prioritize always comes back to what's going to put you in a position to succeed. Over the years, we've been on a journey with you, listening to your feedback and adapting our roadmap to best support you. Think back to 2014, the year Germany won the World Cup, the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge, and for those of you with kids, we were just coming off the Frozen debut. And I know for some of you might be wondering, I've been watching Frozen for how many years now? While you were busy cheering for your favorite teams at the World Cup or watching your kids root for Elsa, we were hard at work responding to your request for an enterprise product line. We announced the launch of the data center product line that summer, and since then, we've invested in significant platform releases like Jira 8.0 and a number of new enterprise features and capabilities. As your biggest fans, we've always been rooting for your success. And in order for you to succeed in 2020 and beyond, you asked for us to support your enterprise needs in the cloud. Just like we delivered on those needs in the data center, we are doing it now for our cloud platform and products. Over the past year, we've hit major milestones. That means we can confidently say we are ready to support every enterprise customer in the cloud. We think it's only fitting to kick things off by starting with few of our biggest changes in our enterprise offerings. Just a few months ago, we added new powerful app functionality natively in some of our cloud and data center products. And we announced the addition of a new data center product, the Bamboo Data Center, delivering the same value you expect from our data center products with an EAP coming up next month. But most importantly, we launched the general availability of Atlassian Cloud Enterprise for Jira, Confluence, and Jira Service Management. Our enterprise plan was built with the needs of our largest enterprise customers in mind. Over the last 2 years, we've increased our per instance user limit 5-fold from 2,000 users in 2018 to well over 10,000 users per instance in 2020. As you've heard from Mike in the keynote earlier, the launch of Cloud Enterprise brought support for 20,000 users per instance, and we are running an early access program with plans to make it generally available later in the coming quarters. And we aren't stopping there. We'll continue to stay ahead of your growth with 35,000 users as the next milestone slated for next year. But we recognize that increasing the per instance user limit isn't the be-all or end-all. A lot of you need to better support your independent lines of businesses, regional teams, or acquired entities so that these groups can maintain autonomy without sacrificing the top-level controls you need. That's why Cloud Enterprise includes a number of features that make working across multiple instances as seamless experience for admins and users alike. With Cloud Enterprise, teams can navigate your content and search across all sites with Atlassian Start, and you as admins get a centralized overview of your product instances and usage through the Admin Hub. Cloud Enterprise also includes access to enable seamless end-to-end security. And it just doesn't stop there. You can also use Jira Align on top of all of this to create org-wide visibility across all of your sites at the solution, portfolio, and enterprise level, connecting your business strategy with technical execution. Scale should no longer be a concern when it comes to the cloud, whether it's our per instance user limit or continuing to address the complexity of your organization's scale through solutions like multi-instance setup. We have you covered. And we only have more plans to continue to push ahead of your needs. When it comes to data center and scale, we know that you're responsible for managing your instances. Scale usually brings a lot of administrative overhead. So we've seen a continued trend towards deploying on IaaS providers like Amazon or Azure. And more recently, we've been seeing demands for more support for containers. So we are excited to announce that we are adding Kubernetes support for data center. Soon, you'll be able to use our official Helm charts and Docker images to deploy your data center products and operate it in the Kubernetes environment, unlocking the benefits of the Kubernetes platform, enabling you to deploy faster, scale easier, and to operate your resources more efficiently than ever before. However, it isn't just about scale. Let's talk about performance at scale. We love your need for speed, so while some of you were busy adding over 48% new Jira issues every year, we've been busy trying to increase the speed of Jira by the same amount. Over the past few months, we've increased the speed of actions performed in Jira and Confluence Cloud up to 60%. How did we do it? By focusing on two key things. First, changing the way we load your applications. Instead of reloading the entire application every time a change is made, we only process the changes. Second, reducing the bundle sizes or the amount of data that needs to download each time you load your browser. All with the goal of making sure your teams can get their work done faster. In our data center products, we were just as focused on performance. We've cut re-indexing time by 50% in Jira, and by splitting indexes in Confluence, we increased the performance and reduced both memory and CPU utilization by 22%. For Bitbucket, we focused on improving the scalability of Git processes and removed some of the latency that is associated to NFS. In addition to the improvements we've made under the hood, we also wanted to make sure we brought you some new capabilities to help you out with the spring cleaning. We've added a few more admin tools to your toolbox to help you manage instance hygiene. In Jira, we've been building on top of the archiving and the custom field optimizer we built over the past years. You can now reduce the number of custom fields with global context with bulk identification and deletion. In Confluence, we're not only allowing you to reduce the total number of pages and attachment versions, but you'll also be able to use analytics for Confluence to identify unused pages and spaces and declutter your instance. In Bitbucket, you'll be able to automatically decline stale pull requests to reduce the amount of stale PRs. And coming soon, you'll also be able to reduce the number of unused repos. The scalability, reliability, and performance of our product was your number one request, and it was where we placed the largest portion of our engineering investments, all with the goal of delivering on the bulletproof platform you expect from us. Don't worry, we know you're looking for even bigger increases in performance. Your expectation sure do keep us busy, but in all seriousness, expect to see many more updates on our scalability and performance progress throughout the year. Before we jump right into the next area, security and compliance, let's take a second to recognize how much change this year brought to the topic. With the majority of the world moving to a remote work setting, hackers immediately started trying to take advantage of this shift and the number of new unsecured connections. McAfee's latest report indicated threat events in the cloud increased 27% year over year, and Ernst & Young has reported that almost all leaders are reporting disruption to the day-to-day security operations, with over 29% stating they face significant impact to their business. That's exactly why we brought security and compliance to the forefront of our roadmap this year. Preventing data leakage, especially through mobile apps, has been something you've been requesting and became even more important this year. You can use mobile device management for cloud to control managed devices and enforce security policies. However, MDM requires your teams to enroll their mobile devices. So we are working to bring you mobile access management so you can control and manage your user apps remotely without requiring them to enroll their devices. MAM will give you more administrative controls to prevent data loss so you can do things like prevent screenshots or copy and pasting data to non-approved apps and institute read-only access. On the compliance front, perhaps the most common request we've been seeing for cloud is around data residency. The majority of you care about where your data is located to comply with regional regulations. Through our data residency controls, we'll let you choose where your product content for Jira and Confluence is hosted across the US and EU realms. That includes information entered by you into Confluence pages or a Jira issue. Our EU footprint currently includes AWS data centers in Frankfurt and Dublin, so choosing our EU realm ensures that your product content, as well as the data replication for disaster recovery, stays within the EU. In the coming quarters, we are committed to adding data residency support for additional regions such as Australia, Canada, Japan, and the UK. We're also enabling participating marketplace app vendors to implement equivalent data residency control for remotely hosted app data. We've recently announced that data residency, which is already available in our Cloud Enterprise plan, will be included in standard and premium cloud plans by the second half of 2021. We're also driving hard around other compliance and regulatory initiatives like HIPAA, FedRAMP, FSI NIST, APRA, BaFin, and more. When it comes to security, access is the critical ingredient for enterprises. Access is our wall-to-wall identity management solution for cloud. We've recently added support for multiple authentication policies, so you can set different policies for different parts of your organization. And we'll be introducing more features to address your number one request: more flexibility around how you set policies and how you build for using access features across your organization. We'll continue to make our platform increasingly secure for all customers, and we're planning for more advanced capabilities like BYOK, DLP, and improved audit logs, including end-user logs. Unlike our cloud products, in data center, you're still responsible for security and compliance. However, you told us that you still needed better visibility and traceability across your instances to provide the proper protection you need. Last year, we announced our plans to build advanced auditing capabilities like our data center product, and it sure did come in handy this year. We heard from many of you that you have used it to help protect yourself from internal or external threats by monitoring events like unsuccessful login attempts or integrating with your third-party monitoring systems like Splunk or Elasticsearch to detect anomaly patterns. We understand that security and compliance needs are ever evolving, which is why we'll continue to invest in this area to ensure that we meet the needs of all our enterprise customers. Similarly, we recognize you need us to stay ahead of your growth and provide consistent performance at scale. While these are the biggest areas that we've allocated our engineering and product investments for it doesn't take away from the collective work we have done with the goal of delivering on the bulletproof platform you've come to expect from Atlassian. With that, I'm going to hand it off to Maggie to walk you through the remaining areas of investment, as well as how we're making it easier for enterprises to map out their path to the cloud.
Thanks, Bala. While Bala just covered our primary investments this past year, I want to take some time to cover the new capabilities we've added in the rest of the enterprise foundations: governance and control, user management, and apps and extensibility. I'll also talk a bit more about some of the upcoming innovation and how we're supporting you as you look to move to our cloud. Bala just talked a lot about scale and how you need our products to support more users. But you are the ones with the really hard jobs, and that's administering products at scale. You told us there are two key areas you really needed more support with: upgrades and user management. For those of you moving from server over to cloud, you've told us that while you love the ease of upgrading in cloud, you still need more control. We know what your upgrade timelines look like and the impact it can have on your organization. Sometimes your plans might look like you're doing a home remodel. Sometimes they look like we're planning for the Olympics. You need to not only orchestrate a seamless update to not disturb your team's work while navigating a variety of dependencies on other technologies and departments, but the change management required to prepare your teams for any changes in experience can also be significant. You need more tools at your disposal so that you're more informed, prepared, and in control with full confidence over your upgrade. To do this, we've started by providing you with a few tools like sandboxes, which you can use to test and experiment with before rolling out to production. We also have release tracks, which gives you more control over when you push an update out to your teams. We know this is just the beginning. There are a lot more enhancements on the horizon to give you the control you need. In Data Center, even though you have significantly more control over upgrades, you've told us you have one problem, and that's downtime. Today, we offer a zero downtime upgrade in Jira Software, Jira Service Management. However, you wanted this across our entire set of Data Center products. So we've introduced rolling upgrades for bug fixes in Bitbucket and in Confluence. You can now upgrade to the latest bug fix release without taking your instance offline. This means you can make sure you're always on the latest security patch or upgrade to get rid of that pesky bug that's been nagging at you without the hassle. While gaining more flexibility and control over upgrades was a big area of interest, user management was just as critical for many of you. With so many of you experiencing growth or undergoing continuous change, like a new acquisition, a merger, or a new project that pulls in new users to your instance, you've told us you want more centralization and more flexibility in how you're configuring your user management setups. In cloud, we focused on further centralizing user management. As I mentioned earlier, we want to offer a centralized admin console to help you effectively manage across all of your instances, particularly if you're running in a multi-instance setup. You can now do things like manage user access across instances, apply security policies, set up custom services such as marketplace apps, or get usage insights all from one centralized place. When it comes to Data Center, you told us you need a wider range of support for new standards like OpenID Connect, just-in-time provisioning, and OAuth 2.0. We've added those and also taken it one step further to add support for multiple identity providers, which solves one of the most common use cases we're hearing for you. And yes, I bet you can all guess it, the need to authenticate your internal teams against one identity provider and your external teams like business partners or contractors against another. Across all of these enterprise foundations that we've built our products on, it's just as important your marketplace apps meet the same standards you've come to expect from our products. We first introduced our Data Center Approved Apps program 3 years ago to ensure our marketplace apps meet the same scalability, reliability, and security standards. Since its introduction, we've been working on improving the program, and this past year we implemented an annual recertification process to ensure we're continually meeting your expectations. In cloud, we've developed a similar program to ensure your apps are enterprise grade. This is called Fortified Apps, which is coming soon. And for all of our cloud apps on the Atlassian Marketplace, we've rolled out additional programs to ensure best-in-class security, like proactive security scanning and our bug bounty, which has over 100 participating marketplace partners. In fact, 93% of all platinum, gold, and silver marketplace partners also have their own bug bounty programs in our marketplace. Our investments in these programs are ongoing, and we're always looking for more ways to ensure our ecosystem is enterprise grade. At this point in the conversation today, we've covered the investments we've made across the foundations. But meeting those business requirements is really just one part of the picture. It is well known that here at Atlassian, we believe teams are at the core of every organization's success. As you heard in Mike's keynote, because we are obsessed with teams, we've spent a lot of time thinking about what teams need to be successful. And this really boils down to two simple things. First, your teams need to understand what work is happening to make sure they're doing the right things. And second, your teams must be thoughtful about how the work is happening so they're working more effectively. In order to make sure we're helping unleash the potential of your teams, we've built a few key components inside our platform to deliver on this. We have machine learning to drive smarter collaboration experiences by automatically connecting you to the right people of work, extensive cross-product automation capabilities to increase the efficiency and productivity of your teams, and extensive marketplace and APIs for deep customization, and finally, the ability to connect data with decision-making, drawing insights from our platform about how your teams work for continuous improvement. We'll continue to invest in all of these areas, all drawn from our unique insights on what make teams successful, so that our cloud products give your organization a leg up on the competition. A few of these investments are particularly meaningful for enterprises, and I'm going to cover two: extensibility and insights in a little more detail. The first area that is critical to enterprises is extensibility. We just talked a lot about having an enterprise-grade ecosystem is important in meeting your team's unique needs at scale. But extensibility is not just about enterprise-grade marketplace apps. Your teams all have unique needs. They need more than a variety of these enterprise-grade apps to choose from. Most of your teams have actually built their own in-house customizations over the years. In fact, this is one of the biggest things we hear from those of you who are looking to move to our cloud. You want more customization. And this is where Forge, our cloud app development platform, comes in. With Forge, you and your team can build and distribute secure enterprise-ready apps, all while our Atlassian-hosted infrastructure takes care of the security, computation, and storage. In fact, for example, Lion Communications creates messaging products for hundreds of millions of users in offices in many, many countries. They commonly have to translate documents and conversations in Japanese, Korean, and English. They've built an app on Forge that allows users to translate Jira issues on the fly. For use cases from custom toolchain integrations to compliance needs and more, we're excited to invite you to check out Forge to see what's possible for all of you to build. With all of these apps connected and your teams producing more and more work inside the products, as you can imagine, Atlassian tools are a home to a treasure trove of data. It's exciting to think about how your enterprise can potentially leverage this data. The ability to draw insights can unlock enormous advantages for your company and provide unprecedented visibility into what's happening into your business. As a large organization, it's harder to gain that company-wide visibility to ensure your teams are doing the right things and you're supporting every single one of your teams to be successful. Actually, here at Atlassian, we combine data from our Atlassian tools with data in Workday so that we can understand things like cycle time and deployment frequency across our org, at a global level, at a department level, and even at a team level. We know many of you are trying to do similar things across even larger numbers of teams. So to better support you, we are excited to introduce new reporting capabilities that will improve the way your teams and organization operate and ultimately help you turn your data into a competitive advantage. We recently acquired Chartio, a cloud-based analytics solution to bring powerful analytics and data visualization capabilities to our platform. This is going to enable you to build custom reports and visualization across your Atlassian cloud products and your third-party tools. As we integrate Chartio into the Atlassian family, our R&Ds are hard at work looking at all the ways that we can leverage Chartio's capabilities across Atlassian to ultimately help you report across your entire tool chain in a way that is custom tailored to the needs of your teams and your organization. But that's not all. I know, we're almost there. As many of you know, we also believe that teams do their best work when they're empowered to choose which tools work best for them. So not only are we adding reporting capabilities powered on our own analytics engine, we're building a common data layer which will give everyone direct access to their data in a more structured format. It's easy to query and allows you to layer your own BI tools on top of all of your Atlassian data. Please stay tuned over the coming months so you can learn how to access some of these capabilities. Now that we just heard about all of the exciting things coming to our cloud platform, I want to talk a little bit more about how we're making it easier for enterprises to actually get to the cloud. So as Bala mentioned earlier, most of you have shared your plans to move to our enterprise cloud offerings in the long term. And we're actively investing in helping you get there, with migration tooling improvements coming over the next year for Jira Service Management migrations, cloud-to-cloud migrations, and Bitbucket migrations. We also know that on average, our enterprise customers have 13 apps making a critical part of your migration. We've been working with top marketplace partners to build capabilities that will allow you to automatically migrate apps and app data using the Jira and Confluence Cloud Migration Assistants. Automated app migrations are currently in development for more than 35 marketplace apps and are planned for GA release this year, including some of your enterprise favorites like ScriptRunner, Zephyr, and Table Filter and Charts. Despite these improvements, we know that some of you still need to take an incremental, phased approach to your migration, which will require you to run both cloud and data center in parallel. To support you in this transition, we're working on several new capabilities in a few key areas. We've heard a lot about user management today, but yes, user management is often the most complex area to support when running cloud and data center in parallel. So to help simplify this administration, we're looking at making improvements in a few places. So first up, our single sign-on solution across cloud and self-managed products. To do this, we're expanding our single sign-on support so that you can connect Crowd to Atlassian Access as one seamless integrated SSO solution. And next up is addressing the fact that user data of our cloud and on-prem products are often incompatible, which can make migrating to the cloud or administrating across both of these two deployments a little bit challenging. So we're working on a solution that will allow you to shape your user data to be more consistent with cloud to better prepare you for your migration. And that is not it. You'll see us continue to move beyond these two areas as we look at making the overall administration of your users across each of our deployments simpler and easier to manage. Now, beyond user management, many of you have also expressed concerns around the security of the connectivity between our cloud and self-managed products. Today, you face certain vulnerabilities and threats of bad actors gaining access to your IP data. We're working on a solution that allows you to seamlessly connect both deployments without compromising security. More specifically, we've updated our IP documentation based on your feedback, and we're improving the existing IP allow listing experience to meet some of your needs, like outgoing connections to support multiple application links between cloud and server or data center products, webhooks you request from our cloud products, repository cloning, or checking for new emails on your email server. We hear from most of you, most commonly our Bitbucket data center customers looking to start at using Jira Software Cloud, that your security standards don't allow you to open your firewall, where you can only allow outgoing communication from server out to our cloud products. To help unblock you, we're investigating in secure tunneling, which will help those of you with stricter security standards. Now, enough about the administration of your users. What about all the data behind these products that you're looking to connect? Earlier, you asked us to talk about investments in insights and analytics capabilities that we're making in the cloud platform. We're also adding very similar functionality in data center called Data Center Pipeline. But it's not just about insights in each deployment. We know how important it is to gain access across all of the work happening in your products, regardless of deployment. So our next steps are to start investigating how we can help bridge this gap. And last but not least, we aren't just focused on the administrative experience, managing cloud and DC in parallel, but what that experience actually looks like for your teams. We've added a number of new integrations between our self-managed and cloud products over the past year, and we'll continue to add and improve these integrations and experiences for your end users as they work across both deployments. The majority of these use cases we've heard from you are centered around your DevOps and ITSM practices, and that's why we've introduced a number of new integrations between your favorite products. Everything we're doing for our enterprise customers that we just covered today is focused on your teams so that they can do their best work. As Bala just mentioned at the beginning of the session, 2020 sure was a year of change for all of us, especially our teams. We're continuously in awe of the amazing work that you're doing. Your teams and teams of teams are helping transform what our future looks like. Our promise is to stay ahead of your needs and where your organization is going to make sure you can keep up the amazing work you're doing. As many of you look to move to the cloud, we've made sure our cloud is ready for every enterprise customer, and we hope to only have more exciting milestones to share with you over this next year. To learn more about any of the updates we talked about today, please visit our public roadmaps, and thank you again for joining us and enjoy the rest of the event.